So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. All right, Rockstar Nation, we got a great guest today, Mr. Matt Aitchison. Yes, Mr. Matt Aitchison, been in real estate pretty much his whole adult life, and been on the show twice before, been almost 500 episodes, and since he's been on, he was on at 175 and like 274, and so I'm glad to have him back from Sacramento, California, Mr. Matty A. Matt, welcome to Real Estate Rockstars again, my friend.
Damn, son, 500 episodes ago. It's great to be back.
Hey, Matty A., why don't you tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do so they get to know you better?
Yeah, so I got into, well, I shared a little bit on, I'm sure, on some of the previous episodes, but, you know, I had a little bit of a turbulent start and got expelled from high school, got arrested in college, and kind of had my, what I call, oh shit moment of what the hell am I doing with my life? And I was so scared of what was my future that I decided I was going to run completely in the opposite direction and do whatever I had to do when gifted that second chance to, you know, have my video and the actions and how my life was actually playing out match my audio and all the things I told myself in my head and other people that I told what I wanted for my life, which was a rich life, right? Rich in relationships, rich in income and investments, rich in contribution and making an impact on other people and other causes that I was passionate about, rich with my health and being mentally, physically, spiritually sound. And at that stage of my life, one, I didn't even know what that was. I wasn't clear on what that was. And two, I definitely wasn't disciplined enough to take the daily actions towards making that a reality. And when hitting that rock bottom, it was a big wake-up call for me. And so that led me on this journey of just personal development, of discovery, of trying to figure out, you know, who I am, what I'm made of, where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. You know, there was a lot of gaps. And it was, you know, all about filling those gaps. And so that led me to kind of finding this space of real estate. I ended up actually working for a small business owner in Santa Barbara. I got a job. Like the day I got out of jail, I went and interviewed at like 10 different places, 15 different places. And one place hired me. And this guy was a small business owner and he had about 7, 8 college students working for him. And I started at the very bottom of the totem pole, you know, pounding the phones, being a CSR. And I ended up being the top appointment setter and working my way up over the next 3 years, working for him to kind of being his right-hand man. And that was my first exposure to quote unquote entrepreneurship or small business ownership. And I saw the lifestyle, I saw the freedom, I saw the impact this guy had on his clients, on his community, on the people that he was, you know, working with, on his own family. And he wanted me to take over his business. And he had kind of, you know, the double-edged sword. He had exposed me to too much for me to want to go work for him. So I ended up moving back to Sacramento and jumping into real estate, where I found a Craigslist ad, ended up getting my license. Struggled my way through the first, you know, 9, 12 months. I think I had like maybe one sell. I was working for the broker also for free on the side, kind of doing some of his flips and managing his projects. And I started seeing all the money that he was making. And I ended up going, this guy's making $50,000 a pop on a flip. I'm making like $5,000 a pop on commission, and I'm still doing all the work. I need to figure out how to get onto that side. So simultaneously, I started trying to build my real estate team, as well as building my real estate investing business. Long story short, over the next 5 years, we were ranked Wall Street Journal top 1,000 real estate teams 2 years back to back, as well as I was starting to flip a lot of houses and buy some rentals. And I realized that I loved real estate and I loved the vehicle of real estate, but I didn't necessarily love the grind of retail real estate, and didn't want to be 80 years old slanging real estate still, because it didn't align with the life, that rich life that I was looking to create. And I knew that my vehicle was going to be on the investing side. And That's where I've really nestled down and niched down into that space. And, this amazing industry that so many amazing realtors use and play in, they don't actually get the full squeeze, the full juice out of the squeeze that is capable by not employing some of the strategies we go out and help other people, implement in their own lives. So that's one of my great passions, is helping people leverage this vehicle of real estate investing in particular, to unlock a more rich and fulfilling lives for themselves, and get clarity on what that looks like for them.
Holy dirt, man. All right. Well, so bottom line is you and Rachel Adams, right?
Yep.
Had a real estate team, big real estate team. She still runs that team, right?
Yeah, she's still rocking it. Yep.
All right. So she's still rocking it in Sacramento. You got out of that business. Now you're flipping homes, right? And like, how many houses would you say you flipped in the last 12 months?
In the last 12, about 20 over the last 570.
570 homes? Or
No,
170 homes you flipped.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of those you keep yourself?
Right now, 16.
All right. So you got 16 rentals. And you live, eat, and breathe real estate when you're working. And so, I want to talk today about goal setting, because I know that because it's the beginning of the year coming up, and you are a goal setting fiend. And I know agents out there need to set massive goals this year. I know when you were on, you and Rachel had the team, you were, the one that inspired the troops and helped them focus on goals and that sort of thing. And I know one of your contributions to Go Abundance is the way that you inspire others through your goal setting and things like that. So, let's talk a little bit about what real estate agents should be doing now to make their dreams come true in 2019. Like, how should they be setting their goals? What do you recommend? How are you doing it? Let's just dig right into it, please.
Yeah, let's dig in, man. I think for the real estate agents, human beings in general, right? We opt into convenience, and I've been one of the areas that I've been really exercising, spending the time on task, right? Exercising the muscle has been in self-discipline and doing the things that are hard. And when you look at the highest achievers in real estate, you look at the highest achievers as athletes or celebrities or, public figures or, the highest achieving moms or dads, right? These are all people who exercise insane self-discipline. So that's really like the foundation of goal setting. All starts with self-discipline.
Okay. Let me stop you right there. Okay. Yep. I agree with you, right? First of all, because, a lot of people will ask me, to describe in one word, right, a successful real estate agent. And I always say, well, there's really two words: follow and up, right? Follow up, and follow up is a self-discipline, right? It's extreme self-discipline. The very successful top producers are incredible about following up, whether no matter the quality of the leads, and if they have a team, right, they're incredible about getting the team to massively follow up, right? And that's all done by self-discipline. You can't do that half-ass, right? You have to be on a level 10 to be following up. So let's talk about that. So what if you don't consider yourself self-disciplined? I mean, should you get out of real estate?
Well, no, because 99% of human beings aren't self-disciplined. So I wouldn't tell them to get out of life, right? So it's one of those things where anything can be, for the most part, learned, right? Like they say your IQ and your personality necessarily can't be changed, but your EQ and certain disciplines actually can be manipulated and changed. So I would throw self-discipline as being an area that anybody can adopt self-discipline, right? And going back to goal setting, one of the number one things that you need in order to build more discipline in your life, in your business, in your income, in your follow-up, whatever it may be, is you need clarity in what targets you're going after. And so number one is a lot of people don't have any clarity in what they're actually chasing, right? Somebody says, hey, you need to follow up. Okay, well, specifically, let's get very, very clear in what does that mean?
Let's get very, very clear, because I think that's a big thing, right? Agents, they'll set goals in January. I mean, they're going to set goals now, right? They're going to set goals in December, and it's going to be, okay, I sold 25 houses last year. I want to sell 35 this year, but that's the only thing they're going to do. So,
Correct.
you know, and they're not going to sell 10 more houses, right? They're not going to sell 10 more houses unless they change something about their EQ. So,
correct.
So teach us.
Yeah. So you, first and foremost, you got to understand that if you're going to achieve something you've never achieved before, you're going to have to do something that you haven't done before, right? You're going to have to 2.0 your mindset. You're going to have to 2.0 your discipline. You're going to have to 2.0 your routine, your habits, your relationships, your database, like whatever it is. Go into this new year going, where in my life that I'm looking to get better at do I need to 2.0 it, right? And get clear in what are the areas first and foremost.
Okay, let me stop you. Okay, so tell everybody, what does 2.0 it mean?
2.0 is just, leveling up, right?
Leveling up. You mean going from 101 to 201 in college? Is that the analogy there?
Yeah,
so going up another level, going from freshman to sophomore.
Exactly. What you did, what you're doing today, or the results you got in your business this year was once a massive stretch for you, right? It was a stretch goal for a lot of people, or it was a challenge, but you figured out how to get there. And by getting from where you were to where you're at right now, you 2.0'd yourself. You found a way to level up, to build.
I just want to make sure it wasn't going from a D average to a C average.
No, I mean, for some people it is, you never know. But you got to know where you want to go and get crystal clear in what that is. And I talk about this word alignment, right? Because alignment is so key. It's just like a car, 4 tires on a car. If one of the tires on the car is out of alignment, it doesn't mean the car is not going to move, but the ride isn't going to be as smooth, right? You're not going to get there as fast as you want to get there. It couldn't be as efficient as it could be. So alignment is very critical. One of the ways you get aligned is getting very, very clear in where you are going. So let's talk about that, right? So easier said than done. I want you to talk about this in terms of this real estate agent. Let's stay on the same real estate agent. Sold 25 houses, trying to go to 35 houses. You're saying, hey, 2.0, get in alignment. Give me some specifics, right? Yeah, so
exactly what does this person need to do today and throughout the year next year?
We'll just use, let's say sides, right? Like you did 25 sides and you want to go to 50. Cool. So I would say getting crystal clear in how you're going to get there is immediately I would go back and look at the report of every single side that I sold and say, where did this come from? What lead channel did this come from? Did it come from referrals? Did it come from direct mail? Did it come from cold calling? Did it come from your database? Like getting crystal clear in what is right now. And you're saying you want to do 50 and all of a sudden you see based on all the stuff that you were getting, 20 of those came from your database. Now we can get crystal clear in designing a plan, a goal around something that is tangible that will get you to that 50, right? By knowing, like, clarity. I know how I got this. Therefore, I know that if I double down on that strategy, I can work a plan around getting to the 50 by using where I'm at right now and being clear in what that is to getting clear or to getting to that clear goal of where I'm going. Does that make sense?
Yes, I got it. Okay, what else? What else do we need to know?
So number one is once you get crystal clear in where you're trying to go, what goals you're trying to set, and it's right, everybody's heard the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. I mean, that's
what he's talking about goal setting. They need to be SMART.
Yes.
SMART. Roll them through real quick.
Specific,
measurable, makes sense.
Attainable,
realistic. Don't be like I'm going from 25 to 1,000, right?
Yeah, if you're saying I want to make $1 million and you've never broke 100,000, that's not an attainable, realistic goal, right?
Yeah. Imagine earning 25,000, 50,000, 100,000 more next year, all because you took action today on learning the specific skills needed to make more money in real estate. What if I told you it could cost you less than your monthly caffeine habit? Wouldn't you do that? Well, listen to this. I'm extending my 90% offer deal on Rebus University's All Access Pass. Why? Well, because you guys keep calling, asking my customer service rep for it, and we're giving it to you, and it's dragging him down. And I'd rather just extend it than to have him keep answering the phones and keep responding to emails and such. So that's 90% off all access. Basically, every single Rebus course, all 18 Rebus 5-star rated real estate training courses that will help you close more deals next year, guaranteed. Yes, guaranteed. If you don't like it, money back within the first 30 days. This is solid stuff. Make 2019 your most successful year yet. Enroll today for only $127 a month at rebussale.com. Yes, that gets you access to all the courses you can eat. That's rebussale.com, rebussale.com, or just text SALE now to 444-999. That's text SALE right now to 444-999. This will officially, without extension, expire on December 31st. Happy holidays all and Happy New Year.
So then you have R, which is your realistic and relevant. And then last is time bound, right? Setting a specific time around when you're going to achieve these goals.
By the end of 2019.
So SMART goals are clear goals, right? And that's what I mean by clarity is getting very specific in each of those.
How do I do this?
Yeah.
How? Like I'm asking you. So you're teaching everybody listening, how to goal set this year. How should I sit down and get clear on my SMART goals?
Yeah, I mean that's literally what you do. Is you follow you follow the SMART acronym. You say, is this goal specific, right? I want to make 50 sides through my database by December 31st, 2019, right? That's a specific goal. It's measurable. We're talking 50 sides. You can measure that. It's attainable. I've done, 25. I think I can get to the 50. It's relevant to your goals, your life. It's realistic and it's time bound, right? So that's how you get clear in what that looks like. Because most people just say, hey, I want to make more money. Well, it's not specific, right? It's not measurable. It's not attainable. It's not. So those are the things that you want to make sure every single goal is very, very clear on, right? Because once you're clear, then you can now break that down. So the second piece of this is breaking it down, like reverse engineer it. Once you know what the end goal is for the annual, sides that you want to sell, then we can start reverse engineering. Okay, so how many do you need to sell per quarter, per month, right? And then by doing that, we can even break it down even further. Where are they coming from? They're coming from my database. They're coming from cold calling. They're coming from this, right? Well, how much time do you need to be spending on lead generation each and every week? How many calls do you need to spend each and every week? And I want to say this real quick before we move to the next step, is a lot of people think because they get very specific and they go through the SMART goals, right? And then they start to break it down. And it may be better to actually talk about this later in this process, but yeah, I'm going to actually save this for later in the process because it'll be more relevant at a different stage. So you get clear. Clarity is key, right? Then you break it down. By breaking it down, then we can actually create our action plan, like schedule it out in your calendar, schedule it out.
Your daily shit, like you're going, okay, if I'm going to do 25 more deals, I'm going to need to talk to, that's 100% increase. So I'm going to need to talk to 100% increase in people every day, or
correct,
or, do 100% more hours of prospecting every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you break it down, right, and we all know the most effective way to achieve important goals in your life is to break the big goals up into the smaller ones. By breaking it down, then we can get proactive and attack our goals by having a detailed action plan, writing out this plan of execution. How am I going to do this? Which is, right, how many hours am I going to lead generate? How many contacts am I going to need to make? How many open houses am I need to hold every single month or every single weekend or whatever it may be, right? So now you can start creating your action plan, which should be reflected in your daily schedule, in your daily habits, in your daily routine. That's your planning of your execution plan. Once you're crystal clear in what it is and you break it down and you schedule it out, you have your roadmap. That's your flight plan, right? And then from there, it's, do you have the self-discipline to get in there and execute your plan every day? Plan your execution, execute your plan, right? And so but this is the thing, most people don't even take the time to do this. So they go through their weeks, their months, their years, kind of just flying by the seat of their pants and saying, you know what, I know I'm going to put forth the effort. I know I'm going to put in the time, right? So therefore, I should get the results. That's what most people think. And I would challenge many people to say that, going back to what I said earlier, if you're going to achieve things at a level you've never achieved before, it's going to require a level of clarity, a level of planning, a level of execution that you have never displayed in your life before, right? And so that's the challenge. That's the exciting part of it, is going like, all right, I am putting in the work. I'm putting in the time. I'm creating the plan. And I know I'm going to put forth the effort and the time. Therefore, I should get a level up of results I've never gotten before. But I would challenge people on this mentality as it being a little bit dangerous at the same time, is just because you get clarity, just because you plan like you've never planned before, you break it down and you go in there and you execute and you put in more time and effort than you've ever put before, doesn't mean you're going to get the result. Right. And this is just a little asterisk and a side note to what we're talking about, but that mentality is actually an entitlement mentality. And what I would say is, just because you put in the time, just because you put in the effort, doesn't mean it's going to equal the result. Because you might see the next person next to you who didn't do this, right? And therefore they still got the result. You didn't. And you're like, what the hell? I put in the time and the effort and the energy, and that person's no better than me, and they got the result and I didn't. Well, that's a mentality of entitlement. And what I would say is you got to do what is required. And what is required is different for everybody else. But this foundation of planning, of goal setting, it unlocks levels of our brain that you may not have explored yet, which actually trickle into other areas of your life, like your discipline, like your planning, like your execution, that you haven't explored before.
So you think a lot of people have it in them, right? They may think, because there's a lot of self-doubt, and I think it's a lot of people's subconscious minds. They're like, well, I'm not meant for 50 units. You know what I mean? I'm a 25 unit gal. You know what I mean? And so what you're saying is unlocking pieces of your brain. Your belief system is there's a lot of untapped potential in people's minds that they aren't exploring. And this process is going to help them open that.
100%. I mean, everybody's capable of it. That's the thing. I mean, and there are studies and stories of, people, right, that are unequipped, that start implementing certain habits and disciplines in their life, and all of a sudden the results are just mind-blowing, right? In many different industries, many different facets. But I would say, this set of planning, this process of planning it's kind of the lead domino that a lot of people are missing, right? That they don't put in this time, they don't put in this effort, and they therefore, spend a lot of their weeks, months, years doing stuff that isn't most aligned with the highest impact activities that are most aligned with the goals and the results that they want to achieve. So by getting clear in a lot of these things and creating this flight plan and then getting in there and executing at a high level, you are significantly increasing your ability to get the results that you want in your life versus not doing this.
Right. Just try it, right? Listen to what Matt's saying and just try it.
there's no downside to it, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, I know for me, my limiting belief, the lie I kept telling myself was like, I'm so damn busy. I'm just going to go out and produce more. I'm going to go out and grind harder, and therefore the results are going to show up, right? And that only works to a certain level, right?
And you could be grinding at the wrong thing. That's the thing. You got to map it out first, because you're going to be like, okay. And I think real estate agents are guilty of that, right? They're like, if I work, I will make more. But the reality of it is you want to be working on things that are actually making you the most amount of money. You know, you could work all day showing rental, tenants around, potential rentals, or you could work all day, focusing on people you feel more comfortable with because it's a lower price range versus higher price ranges. And certainly it's not the right answer, right? You want to know what you should be grinding towards more than not.
Yeah, it's the highest impact activity. So if you're
impact activity.
Yeah, so if you're clear on what your goals are, right, and you take the time to break it down and you see all of the ingredients, all the, in that recipe of success for yourself, then you know what you want to take ownership of, you know what you want to delegate, you know what you want to dig into and work on every single day, because you know it's going to have the highest impact. And this is where you and I were talking about alignment earlier. We were talking about fulfillment. And I know that by getting, whether it's in your real estate business, whether it's in your relationship with your spouse or your partner, whether it's, your health, whatever pillar of life you want to apply this to, if you're clear on what the result is and you take the time to reverse engineer and break it down into milestones, into action steps, whatever you want to call it, right? Then it just becomes that much easier to say yes or no with things that are or aren't in alignment with it. So if somebody says, hey, Pat, I would love to pick your brain and take you out to lunch, and I got this great opportunity, and you are crystal clear on what the results are that you're going after and what time and energy and activities align with that and don't align with that. If that doesn't align with it, you're going to say, hey, Matt, brother, I love you, man. I'm super appreciative that you want to connect right now based on my goals and what I'm focused on. I just can't commit to that. But if you circle back with me in a year, I would love to do that, right? And so it helps individuals. This level of planning and goal setting helps individuals eliminate all of the distraction and all of the things that they just bounce off you, right? And you know what to say no to. And it also creates opportunity and space and relationships and all of the experiences and things that are aligned. It opens that real estate up for those things. Therefore, actually gives you the ability to accelerate the result and most likely spend less time being wasted on the crap that isn't in alignment with it. And so in the world that we live in today, with how much distraction and how much is thrown in front of us every single day, if you don't have a clear path of where you're going and know what is in alignment and what isn't in alignment, you're going to waste a lot of time. You're not going to cover the ground. So like I always say, what's the difference between the billionaire and the beggar on the street? I mean, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But it's how they find a way to leverage their clarity, the people, their yeses, their experiences to get results that most people would never be able to get.
I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox. And it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox, or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now.
And
you've done this yourself recently. I mean, you've come up with a pretty focused transformation of yourself, I've noticed. Can you share a little bit about like what you're doing and how you're succeeding by thinking like this?
Yeah. So, for me personally, it's been a year of 2.0ing my discipline.
2.0, not GPA, but freshman and sophomore.
Yeah, right. My habit and the last piece, which is part of this process, right? So I'll share kind of what you and I were talking about.
Mix it into,
but we talk about, right? Get crystal clear in whatever the goal is and apply this to each individual goal, right? Get crystal clear, break it down, plan it out, execute. And as you execute from January 1 to December 31st, 2019, the entire way, track and optimize.
Track and optimize. Okay. Track. No brainer, right? Track, if you're trying to do 100% more production, you need to do 100% more prospecting. You need to track that you spent 100% more hours prospecting every single day, or that you called twice as many people every single day. Now, explain optimize.
Tracking, right? So tracking gives us data.
Yes.
So based on, let's just use a Facebook ads campaign, right? And Facebook knows that by tracking every single move of their users, of us, they can optimize based on their goal, what content to put in front of us,
double down on what's working is what
double down on what's working and make the necessary adjustments and course corrections on what's not.
And as you're tracking every day, you're like, oh, it's, I find it's better if I call during these hours, right? Or I find it's better if I, break the ice with this joke, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mean by optimizing. Like
exactly.
Make note of best practices as you go, and towards the end of the year or as you progress, you're going to be so much more effective.
The data gives you clues on what's working and what's not, right? And so instead of going at the end of the year, looking back like, man, why did I only come up with 25 sides, right? And you spent, 80% of your time cold calling instead of door knocking, and you got 10 or 20 of those 25 sides from door knocking and 5 from cold calling, but you were cold calling the whole time, and you would have reversed the time you spent in the other area, right? You may have gotten different results. So what we want to do is shorten the gap and use the data from our tracking to give us the clues to course correct into the areas that really are serving us at the highest level. And like I said, real estate or not, I track all of the areas of my life that I tell myself are most important to me. Therefore, when I'm showing up in those areas at the highest level, I'm optimizing my ability to get the results that I want to get. Right. And so we want to find a way, like if you can find shortcuts, if you can hack your way there a lot quicker, take the shortcut. Right. But the only way to know whether or not it is actually a shortcut and it serves you at the highest level is knowing whether the data actually supports that. So tracking and optimizing is a big piece. And that's literally what I do in all of the areas of my life. I mean, that's literally why I designed this planner, this Rich Life Planner. And, some of the things that we're working on with a potential app is to help people create crystal clear goals, to then have the scorecard or the action items that lead to the achievement of those goals, and track them obsessively so you have data in a way that gives you the best tools, the best resources, the best cheat codes and hacks, essentially, to getting where you want to go a whole lot faster. And this is what I started doing in all the areas of my life. So I had to really get clear in what does the ideal lifestyle and the ideal income and the ideal relationships and the ideal business and the ideal time and money that I get to contribute and the ideal health and the ideal travel, all of the areas of my life that I say, right, are extremely important to me. What does that really look like? And I know we all want a better life, and we all want more money, and we all want more time with our family, and we'd all love to take another vacation, and we'd all love to make a bigger impact on the world or other people. But we don't really know, like, exactly, people don't take the time to really get clear in what that is. And it's not something that you're going to just, be able to write out in 1 10-minute sitting, right? It takes some time and it evolves. But the clearer you are in what that is, then you can start figuring out what's in alignment and what's not in alignment with that. And the third piece to that is you can find a way to optimize yourself into being the best version, which will show up the best in those areas. So it's like, you need to be the best version. You need to be very clear in what you're going after, and therefore what the action plan is behind that. So that's where I started tracking all of this stuff in, my routine, my morning routine, my daily routine, and my evening routine, because over time I started figuring out, like, the data tells me, like, I'm crushing it. I'm showing up as my most energized, most passionate, most happy, most fulfilled self when I do this morning routine and when I do this evening routine. And by having these clear goals, when I'm showing up at my highest and best self, I'm crushing it in these goals and my daily activities and my weekly activities, which ultimately leads to my monthly activities getting done, which therefore ties into my quarterly goals and my annual goals, right? So it's just this idea of really intentional living, like truly living
I love it.
intentionally, which most people, we kind of just coast through life,
They do, and it's so easy to coast. So tell me what's in that book. Like, what's it? Take me to inside. I'm going to put, this is something you're selling, right? It's a planner that you developed and other people can get, right?
Yeah. We got people all around the world that got it now.
What's inside?
Yeah. So, it's one of those, we have a guide that anybody can follow. We have actually a video course that goes in and shows you how to use the entire planner itself, but it's basically got all of the rich gardens that you can use. And so rich, right? My definition of rich is having rich relationships. R is relationships, personal and professional. I is income and investments, active income, passive investments, right? Yes. C is contribution, so time and money. Yes. H is health, mental, physical, and spiritual. If you live intentionally in all of those pillars of your life, and you're clear in what your definition of that is, you're going to live a very rich life. You're going to be very fulfilled because you're going to be feeling like you're making progress and you're living intentionally in those areas. And so it's got the goal setting in here, and then it's just got your monthly and your weekly agendas, which, like I said, all of this is annual goals broken down into quarterly and monthly, broken down into weekly. It's got habit tracker in there. We've simplified it to where it's not overcomplicated, but it also helps you what we call spotlight the areas of your life that are really, really important to you, and then creating routines, habits, and disciplines in those areas for yourself personally. So every single day you're making progress in them. And most people just don't take the time to do it. And it's hard when we're entrepreneurs and we're like, oh, I'm so busy. Like, the idea for me was painful, going like, you want me to stop and plan this stuff out? Like, taking 3 steps back to maybe make 3 steps forward is, I'll just keep crushing. I'll just keep going.
Yeah. It's not natural.
And when you take that time though, to do all of these things in those steps that we talked about, the 3 steps back ultimately, at a minimum is going to 2x the ground that you're going to cover, if not 3, 4, 5, 10x the ground that you're going to cover. And it's really the planning side of it. And that was hard for me to wrap my head around, being that I just felt I could, allow my entrepreneurial spirit, my grind, my hustle to overcome a lot of those things. And I can tell you for some it will, but it will cap you in some capacity. You won't reach the potential that you're capable of reaching.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. I love it. So, guys, everybody write this down. Hibandigital.com/ Matt Aitchison and the number 3. It's MattAitchison, the number 3. Hibandigital.com / Matt Aitchison 3. And I'm going to put a link to the Rich Life Planner on there. And I'm going to put all of Matt's contact information on there. If anybody wants to reach out to him, follow him on social media, man. He's very, very active on Instagram. I'm going to put all of his links to all his social media. Matt, listen, everybody that comes on the show brings a free gift that I'm also going to put in Matt's show notes. Matt, what is the free gift you're going to bring to everybody today?
Yeah, I'll give you guys the SMART goal breakdown. So It's what my team and I use. It's what many of our planner users use to take each individual goal you have. So if that's the 25 sides, right, you take that goal, you make sure that it stress tests positively against the SMART. Yes, all of these sections it's a SMART goal. And then what we do is it takes you through this process of literally breaking down, reverse engineering each milestone, each step that you need to hit, when you need to start it by, when it needs to be completed by, in order to achieve that goal. So it helps you create your roadmap. And then the second part of that is it helps you get proactive instead of reactive. And what I mean by that is it actually helps you identify the top 3 obstacles that could prevent you in pursuit of that goal from hitting that goal, right? So if it's, hey, I'm not going to have enough time, or I'm not going to have enough leads, or whatever it is, you can get proactive in identifying the hurdles, the obstacles that might prevent you from hitting that goal. And by doing that up front, you can now plan and go, okay, well, how am I going to overcome this goal? Or what can I do right now to eliminate this challenge before it actually even happens, right? And so that worksheet, we'll be happy to give that to you guys. The SMART goal breakdown, I'll make sure that it's available for anybody on the show.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to put that in Matt's show notes, guys, and you can also get it by going to the Agent Success Toolbox, which can be found on hibandigital.com/toolbox, or texting the word toolbox to 444-999. Matt, this has been a blast, brother. I wish you the best of luck, and hope to see you in Breckenridge in January at the GoBundance event.
Always a pleasure, Hyben. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Rockstars. If this free content is giving you a ton of value, I want to ask a small favor in return. I need you to pull out your pointing finger and hit the subscribe button. Yes, hit subscribe, please. The more subscribers that we get on Real Estate Rockstars, the better guests are attracted to the shows. We'll get more guests from the top companies, from the top teams, and even more celebrity guests like Robert Kiyosaki and Barbara Corcoran. Also, if you're not a member of our free Facebook group, go to Real Estate Rockstars Radio right on Facebook and join the conversation. I'm on there myself on FaceTime Lives, and we have a lot of communications and questions about the show, and I'd love to see you there. And it's free. People ask me all the time, where am I on social media? I'm real easy to find. Just type in my name. My IG is I am Pat Hyben. It is blowing up on Instagram, adding tons of subscribers, and I'm on there probably twice a day. So definitely follow me on Instagram, as well as everywhere else. Thanks again for listening, and keep rocking.